Hello, welcome to the Life Reboot Series. I am your host, Linda Krause-Barnett, and the author of Reboot Your Life, Bring Back Your Spark. I'm so excited for another episode of the Reboot Your Life series, and today I have Sabrina with me, and I'm thrilled to introduce her to everybody. Sabrina, if you will just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do in the world, that would be fantastic.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I'm Sabrina Schottenhamel. I'm a licensed massage therapist and a speaker of simple self-care. I've been practicing massage for 16 years. I've had my own massage business for just over 13 years now, and I've been speaking for 7 years. And I thought it was a good integration for my massage practice because massage is so physically taxing on the body that I needed something to supplement my income and so that I could reach a bigger audience. So when I heard about public speaking and Toastmasters and other speaking networks, I decided to get over my fears of public speaking and start sharing my message.
It doesn't sound like you had any fears of public speaking. You sound incredible. So,
Thanks.
and I'm so glad it's amazing when we conquer our fears. Like we put so much good out into the world, and it's scary to think of what people would miss if we stood behind our fears because
Totally.
I know how important what you're putting out in the world is. And so what I want to start with is the idea of self-care and what that means. Because I know for me, when I realized that my biggest problem was that I didn't love myself enough, my capacity for self-love was not at the point it needed to be. The way I reclaimed so much of that love was through self-care. But my definition of what self-care was 4 years ago has drastically changed from what it is today. So could you walk us through what you believe self-care means and how that integrates into someone's reboot journey?
Sure. Well, for me, when I was practicing massage, when I first went into my own business, I was building a business. So you work 6 to 7 days a week, taking on every client you can. And eventually you start to feel the burnout and you feel exhausted. And I was even feeling, not regrets, but what's the word? Resentment for my clients. So I knew I needed to take a step back and take a couple days off and not say yes to every single client that called in and start practicing little things for myself. So self-care, because we are just running around all day, we need to take the time to basically focus on what we need, to listen to what our needs are. So, so self-care is getting a massage, getting your hair done, your nails done, putting on makeup, wearing something that makes you feel good. Those are all wonderful self-care things. But when you schedule a massage or get your hair and nails done, that takes a chunk of time and a chunk of your investment. So when I started to practice these techniques, I call them simple self-care because they're little things and little techniques you can practice throughout the day that don't take a lot of time or money, but over time, they start to add up. So you start to feel more productive, you have more energy, you start to love yourself more. And you can recognize when you are running on empty or when you're overbooking yourself. And not to get mad at yourself or beat yourself up when you do that, but just say, okay, I know after one of those long, crazy days, the next day I might be a little exhausted. And you just have to forgive yourself and let it go and just say, okay, for the next time, I will plan better or, whatever it might be. So just taking little time throughout the day to focus on yourself.
Yeah, where were you 4 years ago? I desperately needed that advice. So give us some concrete examples. Like talk to us about, listeners viewers who are watching and who are saying, okay, what are some simple inexpensive ways that I can care for myself throughout the day. So tell us what that would look like in a real world situation.
Yeah, so in a real world, you could, if you are someone that sits at a desk all day, or if you're on your feet running around, say you're a personal trainer and you're on your feet all day, or like me, a massage therapist, I'm on my feet all day. So you want to schedule in breaks throughout the day where you're changing the position that you've been in. So if you're standing, you need to sit down or lay down and take a rest. If you're one that's seated all day in the same position, maybe you have poor posture, your head's falling forward because you're working on your computer, then you need to get up and stretch and move around. So moving, stretching, breathing, just by pushing away from your desk, leaning back, closing your eyes, taking 1 to 3 full deep breaths. Yes.
Yes.
Filling up your chest and your abdomen and letting it out. Breathing in through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. Nice, full, relaxing breaths. And let's see. So breathing, moving, stretching, a guided meditation. You can download a free app and you put your headphones in or just have it playing wherever you are. Or if you go outside for a walk, just listen to your favorite song or a guided meditation. Those are very simple ways that don't take an investment or a big chunk of time. But you can schedule those throughout the day. So in between a Zoom call or a meeting or working on a project, you need to schedule at least 5 minutes for I have 3 different types of breaks that I usually speak on, but your mini break is 1 to 5 minutes.
I love that.
Yeah.
It just makes it sound so attainable, so doable.
Yeah.
I used to,
Key.
yes, I mean, I used to resent the word self-care. When women said it, I really thought it was like an elitist concept. Like, well, when you're rich and you have time and you don't work, that's great. But, us over here who are juggling life and possibly kids and a job, like, that's not an attainable concept. But I love breaking it down, breath, movement, so many things you said. Just listening to a song you like, songs are 3 to 5 minutes. For me, like hydration even was a form of self-care that I had been avoiding. And it's amazing just what water could do for your well-being. And I think another little, what's been really monumental for me in the self-care part of my life is boundaries. And I know that's not a thing, but it's in order to have these little mini breaks, we have to honor the boundaries with people around us. When I wasn't honoring a boundary between my children and myself, I wasn't making time throughout the day to care for me, which was not, I wasn't showing up as the best version of me. And so once I learned that boundaries were healthy and that I was actually being a better mom by saying, no, I need some time, self-care became so much more attainable because I was embedding those minutes into my day.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, like, we have these, it's about forming habits, right? So how do we make it a part of our routine? How do we develop habits and make self-care one of the habits that we create?
Yeah. Well, when you are overbooking yourself or you're overworking and you feel exhausted or tired, that's when you know that you need to incorporate time for yourself. And so if you keep going that way, eventually, like I was saying in the beginning, you start to feel that burnout or you feel resentment for maybe your clients or family members or even yourself. So by recognizing that, that's probably the key, or maybe even we could say step 1 to recognizing that you need self-care. So once you recognize that you need this, then you can start incorporating these little 1 to 3 minute breaks throughout the day.
I love
and
that.
whether you take a little sticky note, so I have these little sticky notes in the shape of a heart, and you write them all over the place and you stick them everywhere, or you set, one of the things that I like to talk about is setting an old kitchen timer and setting it away from your workspace, setting it for maybe 25, 35 minutes, or, if you're on a call, then obviously in between your calls, then you have to get up and take your break. But setting that timer away from you, even your phone, setting it away from you, because when it goes off, it's going to be annoying and you're going to have to get up and move.
Yep.
So the more that you remind yourself with, not like you have to take a break, but remind yourself with like love and say like, this is going to make me feel so much better.
Absolutely.
I'm going to smile more. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to get more done, so that after I'm done working, I can be more present, not only for myself, but for my loved one.
Right.
So just by recognizing that you need to take these breaks so that you can enjoy your life more. That's how you can start to create these habits.
100%. And I think like I could speak for myself, but when I feel the urge to move or to get water, like our body speaks to us so loudly,
Yeah.
and it's like it will tell you what it needs.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't push too far past that point, like if you say, okay, I know you want to get up right now, but 5 more minutes, we're going to get through this call and then we'll be able to move. But I know for me, I would just, we have equated productivity with like pain and suffering, like if I'm feeling tight and constrictive, then I must be productive. But I think that there's a whole new way to do life. I
Yes.
think that we're learning now that life can feel easy and flow. We can feel like we're in the flow. It doesn't have to feel so constrictive. And so I love what you're saying, because it just feels expansive. It feels like it's fun. We're taking the fun, putting the fun back into it.
Yeah, and the more that you feel constricted, the more your brain is constricted.
Right.
The more that we get up and we move around, we're more creative when we do come back to work.
100%.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's when I'm in motion. It's funny because people will say meditate, and I have my own hangups with meditation, probably because I just can't get my mind quiet enough, although I'm getting better. But really, it's funny because I will debate this with my spiritual friends that like my meditative moments come with movement. When I'm moving my body is when I get like my genius downloads, So I'm always like, I don't have to sit still and close my eyes. I just need to move my body, because that's when the juices start flowing through me and I feel creative.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. When I'm massaging is when I have the most creative ideas that come to me. And of course my hands are oily and I can't just be like, oh, excuse me, I have this great idea, I have to go jot this down. I can't stop in the middle of it. So
Right.
there's a way that I've been talking with a friend, that when I do get an idea after the massage, going and sort of like recreating that movement that I was doing with my hands and see if I can bring that idea back. So that I can have those, creative ideas, and then I can implement them.
I love that.
The other thing, when you were saying about movement, is a lot of times when I'm trying to create either content for an article or whatever, sitting down doesn't work for me. I need to be standing and working at my laptop. So, I'll set it up at my dining room table or my peninsula, which is a better height, and I'll put my cushion mat underneath my feet, and I will just create away.
Yep. When I was teaching, I had a desk in my classroom for years, and everybody laughed, like, why do you even have one? Because I never spent 5 minutes of my day, because I just couldn't sit still. Like, I needed to teach standing up, and I needed to work standing up. And so I absolutely get that. And what I wanted to swing back to was massage, because I want to say this about massage. When a few years ago, it was very rare, far and few between for me to get massages. I felt like it was an indulgent kind of, like you had to be a special occasion to get a massage. But really what I learned is that it's it's really a part of well-being, you know, the energy flow, the contact, the muscle. Like, we don't give enough credence to the part that our tension plays in our ability to remain calm and to tackle obstacles. And muscle plays such a big part of that. And massages are really a form of self-care.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. And it also, when you are scheduling yourself for a regular massage and you're going to actually get the massage, it helps with your immune system because you're having a lot of circulation through the body. The body's able to clean itself out because when you're increasing that circulation, it can flush itself out more. We drink lots of water after a massage, along with exercise and obviously hydration and nourishment. All those things combined can help with your immune system, your just all of your bodily functions.
Now I'm going to ask like the dooming, looming question that might be on some people's minds. I know it's definitely been on my mind, but with social distancing and people's fear of touch and whatever is going on in the world right now, which is not what this is about. But
Right.
when it comes to massage, and not being able to call your masseuse maybe the way you have in the past, or to start up a new practice, what are your thoughts on like some of the I know there's like self, you know, I just bought my husband one for his birthday. It's one you put your hands in and you kind of push down and
Yes.
I mean, it's effective. It's more effective with a person, of course, but
Right.
just the concept in general is still effective, even if we have to find other ways to do it, right? Do you,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
okay.
By purchasing, part of my simple self-care is I usually suggest people to get, massage tools. So like the even just like a tennis ball or a baseball. And whenever you have like a knot in your shoulder or you have sciatic pain in your hip or down your leg, yes, it's an investment, but it's not a big investment. You can get a whole bag of tennis balls for probably like $5. And the whole
Exactly.
family can use them to
Yeah.
massage each other, or you can massage yourself. You can buy a foam roller. They're not expensive, Amazon, or you just go to your local sports store or whatever, and you can just find different tools to massage yourself. Or like you did, you went and bought yourself, one of those little massager things that you can turn on the different rollers or the vibrations or the little fingers or whatever. So yes, anything that is helping you to relieve some pain and stress and tension in the body will also help to circulate the body.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to hear that. And I know for me, like my muscles cramp up when I'm dehydrated. My muscles cramp up when I'll be conscious that my shoulders are up. Like you don't even realize how much of the day you spend with your shoulders up, and that's
Yeah.
been like a new thing for me, is to remind myself, like I'll be conscious and say, where are your shoulders? And I'm like, oh, they're all the way up there. I have to drop them down. But I will say this, and had someone said this to me a few years ago, it would have probably triggered me, so I may trigger some of you. I'm sorry, but I want to be so bold as to say that if you're not making time for self care, if you're not making 1 to 5 minutes of time throughout the day to nurture yourself, then you need to check in with your capacity for self love, because self care is 100% a form of self love in my estimation, and they're tandem. So, in order for you to love yourself, you must be willing to take care of yourself. And if you can't offer yourself big ways, then you have to begin with small ways. And I love what you called mini breaks, because everybody can do it. Everybody has 1 to 5 minutes several times throughout the day. We
Yeah.
can make time to go to the bathroom. We can certainly make time to do other things that take just
Uh-huh.
a few moments.
Yeah, and if you find yourself scrolling on Facebook for 1 to 5 minutes, instead of
Hello.
doing that, get up and move around, or hydrate, or nourish your body with something good. Because if you feel like you don't have the time, I'm pretty sure you do. And that's one of my struggles too, is I'm trying to scroll less and be more creative. So, just checking my notifications, because if I do post something that I want someone to engage with me, then I'll check the notifications, but then I will put my phone down and, or, turn off the app and move on to something else, because I want to create more and move my body and practice self-love and self-care and really listen to what my body needs, be more productive, to have more energy, and to really to help everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, this vehicle, this body that we've been given is how we accomplish the things we need to. So it's
Yeah.
worth caring for.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is like your biggest self-care lesson or tip? Like, what's the number one thing you want people to walk away thinking or kind of feeling from wherever they may be in their self-care journey?
Honor yourself, and just don't beat yourself up if you're not practicing it yet.
I love that.
Because I mean, you just have to tap into what's inside. And this is what I've been working on lately for myself, is yes, the self-care is great when you do your hair and your makeup and you stretch and you move and you hydrate, but then what about what's on the inside? What's going on with your heart and in your gut? Because if you're not working on the inside with that self-love and the self-care and the just listening, then you're not going to be able to shine and to feel confident on the outside, because you have all those old ways, old patterns still going on inside. So I think that's what it is. It's yes, all the self-care on the outside is great, but we also need to work on the inside too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's like, imagine someone standing beside you like a best friend, and imagine them saying all day long, like trying to get your attention, trying to tell you something, and you just ignore, ignore, ignore. You wouldn't do that, right? You wouldn't just, if it was
No.
your best friend, you'd turn around and you'd say, well, let me hear. What do you have to say? Okay,
Yeah.
how can I help? How can I assist? And we don't value ourselves as much. We don't consider ourselves our very best friend. And when your body is trying to talk to you, to just continue to ignore it is the opposite of self-love. So turn towards your, listen to that voice and then just say, I'm listening, I hear you. Okay, what is it that because it's you talking to you, what is
Yep.
it that we need in this day, in this moment? What can I do to service us for our greatest and highest good? It has taken me so long to do that, I'm still not, I have not perfected self-care.
I haven't either.
Right, don't you think it's like anything else? It's a daily practice. You don't
Yeah.
get good at meditation from one meditation, and you don't get good at anything from one time. It's daily practice.
Yeah.
And it's daily, like you said, it's showing up for yourself every single day, waking up and saying, good morning, Linda. I'm here. I love you. I'm listening to you. I'll be here for you all day for whatever you might need. I'm your very best friend, and we're in this together.
Yeah, I love that comparison about how you said, like, if your best friend was sitting next to you, like poking you, you wouldn't just ignore them. And that's basically, I love that how you put that together. It's like we have a best friend inside of us that we would not ignore either. But we do. We ignore it. We tell it bad things, and we say bad things to ourselves. And it's like, why are we talking to? We would never talk to anybody
We
like
would
that.
have no friends if we
No
spoke to other
friends.
people the way we speak to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
This is such an important conversation, honestly, because I mean, if there's anything I want people to walk away from when they read my book, when they listen to the series, it's self-love. And I do believe it begins with self-care. I do believe that, we get busy and we forget that we're part of the equation. So I'm so passionate about it. It's so important to me. I love how you broke it down into digestible, manageable bites. So people, you have no excuses. Sabrina has taken away your self-care excuses. So I appreciate that so much. Where can people find you?
Yes, well, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I have a YouTube channel, and well, I've been posting a little bit more on TikTok about, self-care videos, fun videos, because if you're having fun, that's a part of self-care. If you're, exercising or, doing having funny filters or whatever, that's all self-care. So TikTok, where else am I? Oh, well, I'm on Facebook in my personal page, and then I also have a group called Break Time. So that's what I was talking about, sharing little simple techniques throughout the day, and then how to incorporate those breaks into your day. The mini break, I call it a moderate break or a mid-sized break, and then a mandatory break. So if
I
you
like the
want to
mandatory
connect with
break.
me there, then you can connect with me and learn more about how to take those breaks and practice simple self-care.
I will attach in the description all of her links. I will make sure you have access to her Facebook group and to all the ways that you can contact Sabrina so that you can continue on your self-care journey, because it is going to help you reboot 100%.
Yes.
Thank you, Sabrina, for being on the show. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. I've loved having you.
Yeah.
And we will see you all next time.